What am I looking at? I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to go look at my last video. I know I built out this area. I didn't save it. I didn't. Excuse me. I'm gonna leave. I Alright, that was a little dramatic, but it was a little frustrating too. We got through it though, spent a little bit of time rebuilding the area. Not really sure if it came out the same way. Looks like we just had a fire over here. But we got some shopping centers added in. We got our population just around 24,000 now. No-show district is coming together. Got to populate this area. Not 100% sure what to do with all this slope here. A bear? That's a bear. But then over here we, built a little bit back up. It's still struggling a little bit. We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that later. Today's plan, we're gonna build an amusement park. Since the second I saw this map and I saw this island, I thought it would be really awesome to add an amusement park here. I really think what we're gonna do is this entrance here. Only thing that it has access to is the amusement park. Probably build some parking here and have all the fun stuff on this direction. Thinking about potentially bringing this road in as well and having it kind of mirrored with some parking over here and have everything in the center. But let's get it kicked off and see where it goes. Alright, so as we get building here, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to zone the area. We're going to name this Unnamed Grounds. I would love suggestions for the names of our amusement park. Drop it down in the comments. Maybe we'll see if there's some that people like. If we get any suggestions, we'll go with that. Here I start playing around with the entrance. I'm not really sure what we're going to do here yet. The only plan I had at this point was I wanted to use some of these custom parking garages. I think that fits amusement parks. Most amusement parks that I've been to, at least large ones, some of the smaller ones do have parking lots, and we might add some of that in later on the other side. If you're new to this channel, thanks for joining. We are building this city slowly as we go. I do not have things pre-unlocked, so in this episode, we're only going to have the level 1 amusement park assets available to us, and that's all we get to. We'll come back to it later on in later episodes. I'll probably have an episode dedicated to catching up on certain things like our industry areas, our amusement parks, our nature reserve. We'll have some episodes that we just show us upgrading them from level 1 to 2. Some of the industries we were able to level up quicker, like we have our ore industry at level 5 already, our farming industry, our forest industry I believe is at level 3 now, but like I said, we're doing this organically as the city grows and the needs grow with it. So at first when we open an amusement park in Socktown, we're only going to need a couple attractions for people because there's only, 24,000 people in town. And as it keeps growing, so will the amusement park and the other parks in general. Here I was trying to use some of the move it tricks to mirror the road to make it more even on both sides. It took me a little while to remember how to do that. It's been a while. It turned out okay. The two areas still weren't exact, as you can see, but it gives a good idea of where we're going. Some of the inspiration here is some of the major amusement parks that we have in the United States. I like the idea of having like a main road that just cuts all the way down through it. We're gonna have these two sides be like little different districts of the amusement park and have different things in those areas. Obviously, since we're still at a level 1, those side areas are gonna come later. We're gonna start working on our main street type area here. And the first thing that I always like to add in any type of park of mine is kind of the information booths. And instead of information booths in the amusement parks, we have the souvenir shops. So we pop that down towards the entrance. And then here we're giving people areas to use the bathroom and also adding a little cafe for some food. I decided to move the restroom there to the left side. In my head, we have the idea of the cafe in the middle. On the right, we have maybe the male bathroom, and on the left, we have the female restroom. But that's, yeah, nice little area that, you know, you come in, you're gonna get some souvenirs, or you're leaving, you wanna eat, boom, it's right there at the beginning. Or it's towards the exit on your way out. You hit the souvenir shop right before you leave. Kids are happy, you go home, everyone's nice and full from hitting up the cafe to get some food. And yeah, I just feel like it's realistic, to be honest with you. And that was why we did it. So the next thing we're doing is, you know, we find the carousel, we want to decide where we want to do that. And my thought process here was we're going to build like a queue system like you see in the lines of these amusement parks, as this one's the entrance, and then on the back side of it we're going to add like the exit line, and that will allow people to, the game might not do it this way, but the idea in the aesthetics of the design is that this is the queue for getting on the ride, and then the other side is the queue to leave. I started to play around with the curved fences, and to be completely honest with you, they frustrated me. I don't know if it was just a setting I had messed up in Anarchy or what, but it just wasn't playing nice, so I decided to just scrap that idea, and I went with the straight fences. I might come back and revisit that off camera and try to get that looking a little bit better, but it was getting more frustrating than it was worth to me, especially whatever move it was doing here, right there. I don't understand why it was doing that, but it was pretty frustrating. So I decided to just scrap that idea and just go with the straight fences. This area, really, we're gonna have like one main attraction so far today in this episode, and I wanted to kind of detail out the idea of how I wanted this entire amusement park to feel as it grows and gets larger, and you'll see that coming up soon. I'm fencing off this area to make this an isolated attraction in the amusement park. I feel like that's something I see when I go to amusement parks, when I used to. I don't know if they're even open at this point. But yeah, so we're having an opening between the walkways where we can extend, and there's a little nice first-person view. Once this place gets busy, it'll be nice to see that line backed up and see how it works. But here we go with some of the detailing. I wanted to add a little water feature to begin with in this line while people are waiting. They have something nice to look at. And then instead of using these typical bushes that we've been using in the city so far, I decided to dig deeper into the custom assets that I have downloaded, and we do that we do it right here. Found different bushes, and it gives a different feel than the rest of the areas, and this will probably be a consistent feel that we have at least in this area of the amusement park. We'll probably have other districts that we do design a little bit differently so that they stand out as their own area. And at this point, I'm really regretting not downloading the mod that allows you to just draw straight lines of props. I really need to get that one because that would save me a ton of time, and they'd probably look a lot better than me just placing them down one at a time. And then we add these different trees that we haven't used before, custom asset as well. And I like how bright they are and contrast with the red and green there of the bushes and trees. And then played around with having like a seating area here. I didn't really enjoy the way it came out, or wasn't a fan of it. So I eventually decided to scrap that and go a different direction with this area. You can see, there we go, we delete everything. And then the only thing we haven't used so far were the game booths. I like how they have like a quarter circle look to them, so you could surround 4 of them and make a full circle and walking area in between. But we decided to just use 2 here, and they fit perfect in the area that was left. That was completely by accident, but it turned out nice. And that's our first area done in the amusement park. As it grows, we're gonna expand that as well. I think our next goal is gonna be to grow that area that we just saw around the amusement park. We gotta get more people closer to the amusement park so that it's more of a attraction for them to get there. and then we can get these other assets that I'm kind of taking a peek at opened up so we can use them. But at this point, no one's visiting the amusement park because that area is not populated. So the last feature or thing that I added to this little entrance area is a road for a bus to come. And at first I thought, you know, let's just put it right here. We'll add a little bit of a path to get over to the entrance. And as I finalized designing that, I kind of saw the huge flaw in that is the buses would have to do a U-turn. And that's not going to be ideal for traffic at all. So I spent a little bit of time trying to get this path working pretty nicely and then decided it's not going to stay in the game. As you can see here, right when I start thinking about the bus line, I realized the flaw and decide, yep, that's not going to work. Let's just give this road a full circle here that goes right back to the roundabout, and then a major bus line that goes all the way into town. Hopefully that attracts some people to it for now, but that's not going to be the case. I don't think so. I think we're going to have to populate the area closer to get people to go to it. Alright, it's time to recap, and instead of really recapping, I guess we're going to talk about future plans. This whole area right here that's not built out yet, we're going to build that out next. It's got to get done. I think that'll help a ton with the amusement park so that we can level it up. I think right now this might be one of my favorite things to work on in the game, and I really want to get this amusement park growing and bigger so that you guys can see my vision for what I want to turn this into. You know, these different districts that we can build on the sides and get all of these designed and populated and fancy like this one, and see a lot of people wandering around in the amusement park will give me a lot of satisfaction, and I think that'll be pretty awesome for Socktown in general. Get a lot of kids in the carousel and all the other roller coasters and rides that we can get, and I think this amusement park has a beautiful view of that mountain in the background. I think it was a perfect location for it, so thanks for joining. Like always, I'll catch you on the next episode of Socktown.